Welcome back to my class. In the last video, we were discussing about the criterion of spontaneity. And the criteria of spontaneity is for a non-isolated system, delta S system plus delta S surroundings, that is delta S total, should be greater than 0. And if the system has attained equilibrium in a reversible reaction, then delta S total would be equal to 0. So this was the criteria of spontaneity, and based on this, the statement of second law of thermodynamics goes like this: the entropy of the universe always increases in the course of every spontaneous or natural change. And putting the first and the second law of thermodynamics together, we can conclude that in any natural or spontaneous process, the energy of universe remains constant, but the entropy of the universe always increases. So the next thermodynamic term that you can see here is the Gibbs energy. This is another thermodynamic function for the criterion of spontaneity. The entropy criterion for spontaneity reveals that for a process to be spontaneous, delta S total should be greater than 0. But one of the limitations of entropy criterion lies in the fact that in order to decide the spontaneity of a process, we have to consider the change in the entropy of the system as well as the surroundings. The surroundings are very vast, so the change in entropy of the surroundings is not easy to be determined while dealing with the chemical reactions. So it is quite desirable to introduce some function which can be applied to the system only, but it automatically takes into account the entropy change of the surroundings. That is, it should be able to give the idea of spontaneity of the process alone at a given set of conditions. And Gibbs energy is one such thermodynamic function which helps in the development of criterion of spontaneity. Gibbs energy is also called free energy. And what is Gibbs energy? It is a measure of useful work obtained from a system, and it is denoted as G. That is amount. It can also be defined as the amount of energy available from a system at a given set of conditions that can be put into useful work. So here you are considering only the system there. And what is the mathematical expression of G, the Gibbs energy? This G is equal to H minus Ts, or H here is enthalpy, S is entropy, and T is the temperature in Kelvin scale. Gibbs energy is an extensive property and is a state function. The change in Gibbs energy is given as delta G is equal to delta H, change in enthalpy, minus at constant temperature it is T into delta S. This equation is called the Gibbs equation or Gibbs-Helmholtz equation. Gibbs energy and spontaneity, that is, what is the criteria of spontaneity in terms of Gibbs energy? Since Gibbs equation contains enthalpy term and entropy term, delta G is the best term to indicate whether the process is spontaneous or non-spontaneous. A negative sign, spelling of sign is wrong here, the negative sign for delta G indicates spontaneity. That is, for a reaction to be spontaneous, the change in entropy should be positive, but delta G is negative there because it is a useful work done by a system, and the useful work is being used up. So the delta G value, if it is negative, means that reaction is spontaneous. Now the delta G negative, this is what you have to understand. Delta G negative that means the reaction is spontaneous. So how can you get the value of delta G is negative? Delta S total is equal to delta S system plus delta S surroundings. Here delta S surroundings is equal to enthalpy change of the surroundings by T. And when energy is released to the surroundings, it becomes minus delta H system by temperature. The negative value indicates that the energy is released by the system. So delta S total is equal to delta S system minus the delta S surroundings is equal to minus delta H system by T. Substituting that, it becomes delta S total is equal to delta S system minus delta H system by temperature. There you get here T delta S total is equal to T delta S system minus delta H system. That is equal to minus of rearranging it delta H system minus T delta S system, or this is equal to delta G. Delta H minus T delta S is delta G. So you get here minus delta G system. So delta G system is equal to minus T delta S total. Generally, negative sign of delta G indicates spontaneity. So you simply need to understand in this part the criteria of spontaneity in terms of Gibbs energy is the delta G should be negative. The positive sign, if delta G is coming out to be positive, means that is a non-spontaneous reaction, and if delta G is equal to 0, then that reaction is in equilibrium. So this is what you have to understand in terms of Gibbs energy. Conditions for obtaining negative sign for delta G. What are the conditions? You know, delta G is equal to delta H minus T delta S. So in order for delta G to be negative, what are the conditions? That is what we are going to learn. You can think about the reaction delta G is equal to delta H minus T delta S. So if delta H is negative and delta S is positive in that formula, then delta G always will be negative. That is, it will always be spontaneous, because delta H minus T delta S, so both, then delta H is also negative, T delta S is also coming out to be negative, so delta G will be negative. Second criteria, second condition for delta G to be negative from the mathematical equation, delta H is positive and delta S is negative, then delta G will come out to be positive, because delta G is equal to delta H minus T delta S minus T delta S. Delta S, if it is negative, means minus minus will come out to be positive, and hence delta G when it becomes positive means it is a non-spontaneous reaction. So we know from here that the entropy should always be positive, the disorderliness should increase. Only then delta G will come out to be negative. And we also know that for most of the exothermic reactions, almost all the exothermic reactions, the delta G, that is they will be spontaneous, and the delta G according to the equation will come out to be negative. Next is delta, in from the formula delta H is coming out to be negative and delta S is also negative. So when delta S becomes negative means the T delta S factor will come out to be positive. In that case, the temperature should be very low and the magnitude of delta H should be very high. Only then delta G will come out to be negative. That is, it is spontaneous only at low temperature. The fourth condition is delta H is positive and delta S is positive. So when delta S is positive means the temperature should be very high. Only then the T delta S will become very high, that is negative T delta S will become very high, and then the delta G will come out to be negative, because delta H, the first term in the equation, is positive. So the T delta S magnitude has to be greater. So greater the magnitude of T delta S, then delta G will come out to be negative, and in this case it is spontaneous only at high temperature. Next is the relationship between Gibbs energy and equilibrium constant. You have learned equilibrium constant in the previous video. So Gibbs energy and equilibrium constant, how can you bring about the relationship? The relation connecting Gibbs energy under standard conditions and normal condition is given as the relationship between delta G and delta G naught. This is the Gibbs energy and standard conditions. And Q is the reaction coefficient, which you have learned in the previous lesson, where delta G is equal to, delta G is Gibbs energy under normal condition. Delta G naught is Gibbs energy under standard conditions. R is the universal gas constant, T is the absolute temperature, and Q is the reaction coefficient. At equilibrium, we know delta G is equal to 0 and the reaction coefficient Q will be equal to K, which is the equilibrium constant. So at equilibrium, the above equation will become delta G is 0. So this factor will become 0. Delta G naught plus RT log K, natural log K. That is delta G naught is equal to minus RT log K, or converting it into the common log, we get delta G naught is equal to minus 2.303 RT log K. So this is the formula which is very important for doing problems. Next year also we'll be using this formula. Now here there are some examples where you can classify the following process as spontaneous and non-spontaneous. Dissolution of ammonium chloride. We know it is a spontaneous reaction, though the change in enthalpy is positive. The delta H is positive here, but delta S is more positive. So T delta H minus T delta S, the T minus T delta S value becomes greater there. So delta G becomes automatically negative, and that is why dissolution of ammonium chloride is spontaneous. Another example, sodium hydroxide. Dissolving sodium hydroxide in water is an exothermic reaction. If you're taking some sodium hydroxide pellets and dissolving in water, energy is liberated, becomes very hot. That means the delta H is negative and delta S is positive. That is, the heat is given out, so disorderliness of the system increases. So delta G is negative. Melting of ice is a spontaneous reaction there, where delta H is positive even though delta S is more positive. So delta G comes out to be negative. Burning of gunpowder, there the heat is liberated, so delta H is coming out to be negative, delta S is positive, so delta G also will become negative. Solidification of water 20 degrees Celsius is an example of a non-spontaneous process. Here delta H is negative, but delta S is also coming out to be negative. So these two, the delta H criteria is being satisfied, but delta H is negative, so delta G becomes positive. Solidification of water at minus 1 degree. There delta H is positive, delta S is negative, but at this temperature delta G comes out to be negative. So thank you children.